Hargan says in a statement that Mr. Trump has made this national crisis a top priority since he took office in January, and we are proud to be leading in this effort at HHS. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 140 Americans die every day from drug overdoses, including 91 specifically from opioids. On Wall Street, the Dow by 71 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life.
Hi, this is Kevin Sorbo, and that's Josh Lucas portraying Jesus in the new Breathe Audio Bible. Josh and I are just two of the nearly 100 voices you'll hear as you journey through the New Testament. This completely new dramatic audio presentation of the New Living Translation will transport you into the world of the Bible, with the voice talents of actors who have a passion and heart for the Bible, like Hill Harper, Ashley Judd, Marshall Allman, and Wintley Phipps. The world of the Bible comes alive in a deeply moving audio experience. The Breathe Audio Bible is available in a variety of formats so you can listen at home, at work, or on the go. To secure your copy of the Breathe Audio Bible, visit breathebible.com. That's breathebible.com.
Passengers on all flights heading to the United States from overseas are now facing new security screenings under the latest Trump administration decision on global travel. Correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
They're being asked about their trips.
They looked at my itinerary to verify that I was who I was, that I came from where I came from.
And their bags.
If I'm carrying any food items, if I have any souvenirs.
Fran Young was okay with it as he headed from Hong Kong to L.A.
We need heightened security.
Gavin Lai, though, was a little annoyed.
I don't want to, wait on people to interview me.
The regulations cover all 2,100 flights coming into the U.S. from around the world on any given day, though a few carriers say they're allowed to delay implementing them until January. There is confusion at some airports over just what the U.S. wants them to do. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. A law banning Honolulu pedestrians from using cell phones and other electronic devices while crossing the street has gone into effect. Honolulu City Councilman Brandon Elefante says pedestrians in Hawaii's capital can now face fines up to $99 for being distracted by a mobile electronic device while crossing a street.
You really are unable to put a cost to someone's life, especially when it comes to something like this, as simple as putting your phone in your pocket. I've heard it on a national level and also international level that other cities across the globe may be considering something like this.
Tourist Amy Pulaski says the new law could help people from getting hurt, but enforcement will be a problem.
The enforcement aspect would be quite difficult, and almost that the government's efforts would be better spent with the law prohibiting drivers from being on their phones while driving.
Another tourist, Jim Cartiser, says a ticket for texting in the crosswalk is not a souvenir most people want to bring home from Hawaii. More at townhall.com.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
If you don't want to hear real facts on social and political issues, then stop listening now. Otherwise, stay right here for real issues, real facts with real people.
Accelerate your culturalization of America.
But when the Dems use the argument that we're all immigrants, I want to turn into the Tasmanian devil with two clubs in Miami, clear the roof. They were immigrants that came here because they wanted to be here. They wanted to learn they wanted the American dream. You cannot get the American dream speaking Spanish.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I'm going to deal with topics and issues that will make you think, make you mad, and maybe even get you a little embarrassed. Don't go anywhere. The lines are open. You can reach me at 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563.
You're all so stupid. Did you take lessons?
You're despicable.
Welcome back to another session of Sanity. I'm right here on the Real Side, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Head over to my website, therealside.com. You can watch live, listen live. You can take the poll. There's a gazillion things you can do up there. And you can give me your email address. If you give me your email address once a week, I send out an email, usually letting you know who's going to be in the show, what we're talking about on the show, topics, any new pieces that might be published to the website. And check out the website on a daily basis, therealside.com. While you're there, you can even buy my book, Ramblings of a Right-Wing Bible-Thumping White Guy. All those things you've been taught to hate, all those things you've been taught to be afraid of, and it's all just a line of bunk, really. It just means absolutely nothing. Anyway, again, we've got a live chat room up there. We've got a live chat room on Facebook, because we're up on Facebook Live. Actually, we're all over the place. We truly are like manure on a ranch, right? Just you can find us pretty much anywhere. Yes. The Southern Poverty Law Center puts the Stonewall School on a hate map. I mean, you have to. I mean, God, Stonewall Jackson, terrible, terrible man. The problem is that the school's actually named after the stone wall that's out in front of the school. Yeah. See, they're so looking for hate. They're so looking for something to be offended by. They're so looking for something. I mean, really, somebody joked about it, but hey, it's not that far off. They're going to scream about taking down telephone poles because they look too much like crosses. The SPLC should be on its own watch list. Matter of fact, it's just nut jobs that they are. Should be listed as a terror group themselves. Now, their members kill people, their leadership destroys people, and this story shows you how dangerous and careless they are. They put Stonewall School on a hate map that was named after a rock wall. Just like the brick in their heads. Southern Poverty Law Center is, in its anxiousness to erase U.S. history, erroneously included Stonewall Elementary School in Lexington, Kentucky on its latest hate map because they assume it was named after Confederate General Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Now, however, the school was named after a literal stone wall. The hate group was informed of their error by the school and local historians who explained that the old masonry wall stood on the land of a local farmer and his family. A subdivision was later built on the property along with the school decades ago. It was named Stonewall Estates. The school took on the name of the neighborhood portions of the wall. Of course, that happens all over the place. It happens all over the country. SPLC, which is fantastic at getting conservatives killed for their beliefs through these so-called hate maps, apologized for the inclusion and removed the school. It's been removed from our interactive map. It's not included in the data set we've been providing to journalists in Charlottesville. That offers still a little comfort, knowing that the school was actively on the map for the last 2 months and could have become a target for anyone, any Antifa or leftist group. You know, they're out there too. They get pretty nasty, right? I mean, these guys just don't get it. They really don't get the damage that they do, especially when they make a mistake, because you get a lot of nut jobs out there that are acting on what they hear, what they see with these people. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. All right, couple of more lighthearted stories before we get into our finances. The coach said that, Tony, oh, come on, Robichaux. I'm gonna go with that, no matter what his name is. Tony Smith. He said kids today believe that correction is criticism. Oh, how true that is. The name Tony Robichaux should sound somewhat familiar. The Louisiana Lafayette baseball coach went viral earlier this year after going on a rant explaining why so many kids quit sports. Right? His words about, and I quote, You've got to work while you wait. How true is that? We all know that's true. Right? You got to work for it. I was just talking to somebody about how kids today don't even want to do internships because it doesn't pay anything. Is that nuts or what? Now, overnight, he said, I noticed that some folks were sharing some more comments from Robichaux that resonated with them, while they appear to be from the same talk, same clothing, same backdrop, and so on. What he has to say about toughness and building character is once again worth sharing. That's a challenge. How far can you go, he says, to get your team tough before you get reprimanded by soft people? He means by the administrators. He means by the politically correct. You need to stop letting this happening at your schools. You need to take a stand at your schools and stop this craziness from happening. We're sending a team of powder puffs into the real world. When you can't yell at athletes or get on athletes and pound away at them to do the best they can do, which is what they need. They need to be pushed. And not to make the coach feel better, but there's a lot of kids that don't reach their potential because there's no adult behind them pushing them along, egging them on, encouraging. Now look at encouragement comes in many ways. And I don't know if some of you guys may know this and some of you guys don't know it. I have a helicopter pilot's license. I've had it for years. And when I first were learning how to fly, I had a pretty tough guy. A couple of months anyway. And he had something else he had to do. He couldn't be there a couple of times with me. And so I got another instructor. And that other instructor was a lightweight. He was making me mad because I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew how I was flying was bad. And he kept saying, it's okay. It'll come to you. And we'll just go around and we'll do it a couple of more times. And you'll get a better feel for it. I wanted to reach over. If we weren't in the air, I would have reached over and smacked him. Because I need somebody looking at me going, hey, what you're doing is wrong. You could do better than this. You know you've done better than this. That's what I needed, and that's what many of those young people out there need. I'm Joe Messina, your host. You'll see the Real Side. David Fisher joins us after the break. Don't go far.
J&M Enterprises is a full-service screen printing company. They print on shirts, pants, hats, cups, frisbees, sports bags, sweatshirts, tote bags, and most any other promotional items. J&M has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years.
Did you know that 9 countries around the world have already seized their citizens' assets to pay down their country's debt or support their banking system, known as what we call a bail-in? Did you know that bonds, mutual funds, and cash can be easily seized, while certain types of gold and silver coins historically are protected from government confiscation? Would you like to know the laws that have been passed to seize your wealth and how to protect your hard-earned money? Did you know that the Dodd-Frank Act allows our government to do the same type of seizure on our investments that those other 9 countries have already done with their citizens? If you don't want the government to seize your assets, you need to know how to protect yourself. You need to call our friends at Landmark Capital today. They are waging war against the government seizure of your wealth. Call 855-747-5947. That's 855-747-5947 to get free info or landmarkgold.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not from the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Joe Messina here, host of the Real Side Radio Show. I'm asking you to exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that support one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call us at 855-58-LIBERTY. That's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or check us online at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. You want to continue to be one of those uninformed voters? uninformed people in this world, then change the channel because they're going to give you information you can work with. I'm going to give you information that's going to make you have to make a decision, have to do something about what's going on in this country today. If you want to get involved in the conversation, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Hop on the website, therealside.com, where you can get involved in the live chat, the watch live, the listen live, take the latest poll, check out my classic podcast. There's so much going on the website. Buy my book, Ramblings of a Right-Wing Bible-Thumping White Guy. We have shirts up there, #stand. It'll help you show others that you're willing to stand for liberty, stand for freedom, stand for these United States. You know, that's how we stay around. Do something. Get involved. The lines are open, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Go to the website, become one of my PIPs, my politically incorrect posse members. That's right. For the cost of a cup of coffee at that very expensive coffee place, you can go ahead and be a member of the team. So keep it here. Remember, get informed, get involved. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Real Side on GCN Live, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
J&M Enterprises is a full-service screen printing company. They print on shirts, pants, hats, cups, frisbees, sports bags, sweatshirts, tote bags, and most any other promotional items. J&M has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years. J&M takes pride in providing high-quality products and services because we care. Our state-of-the-art equipment enables us to print high volume with superior quality on any job. We print on clothing lines for schools, businesses, sports teams, and bands nationwide. Our team is committed to total customer satisfaction and the quality you should expect from a professional screen printing company. J&M, family-owned and operated. Give us a call. We guarantee a great product and a great price. 800-462-0002. For a price quote, 800-468-0002. Or go to the web at www.jnm.cc.
GCNwellness.com.
Can't you see what I'm trying to tell you? I love you. Why don't you marry me?
Why, marry you?
You take me and I'll take a vacation. I'll need a vacation if we're going to get married.
Can you imagine doing jokes like that today? I'm Joe Messina, your host. Listen to The Real Side on GCN Live. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. And I really do appreciate the time that you're spending with me. I know there's other shows that you could be listening to, and you've chosen this one, which really, I really appreciate it. I really do. I don't always say it, but I really do appreciate the time that you're spending with us. Look, I don't want to waste this time. I always enjoy having David on. I really, truly believe that he explains finances to us in plain, simple English. And I love when I have him on because some of us do have, or some of you do have a few bucks that you know what to do with. You need to know how to keep. You need to know how to keep it, keep a hold of it. And David. I tell you what, most of the time. Well, I shouldn't even say most of the time. Pretty much 100% of the time. Pretty much. He's been honest. He's been upright, and nobody's complained about him to me that he's been dishonest with them. So that's what you need when it comes to your money. I always like to bring David on because David speaks simple English when it comes to finances and things around finances and precious metals and stocks and the market. These guys make me nuts with some of the terms that they use, but at least David explains it in plain simple English. David Fisher joins me. He's the CEO of Landmark Capital. David, always, really, truly, always a pleasure to have you with me.
Thank you for having me, as always, Joe, on your show.
So, hey, listen, the Senate got all excited last week. They got to spend more of our money, right? I mean, I don't think they've seen a budget they don't like. Have you?
Well, they're used to spending money. I think what they got excited is finally passing something. It's really where it's at.
Oh, ouch. Oh, no. Well, because they passed a bill that allowed them just to start spending money like drunken sailors, and no offense to sailors.
Well, let's put it into perspective. Absolutely, Joe. They did pass. There was a historic bill. Keep in mind, already on October 5th, the House passed a $4.1 trillion budget. And late last Thursday, the Senate passed their budget by a very slim vote, 51 to 49, with no Democrats supporting it. And considering there's only a 52-seat majority, that was narrowly passed. And Ron Paul.
Wait a minute. How could a Democrat not vote for spending more money?
Well, they just don't want to support any Republican bill. Is what it comes down to.
That's what it boils down to. Yeah.
But if they had a bill to spend money, they would definitely vote for it. So this is not about spending money for the Democrats. This is about not supporting what the Republicans want to do. But there was one Republican, Rand Paul, that opposed it for moral and ethical reasons. Sure. That it was quite different for the House, and I support him in that, in his being a man of ethics. Mm-hmm. But the numbers, there's $1 trillion of cuts in Medicaid and $470 billion cuts to Medicare over a decade. The projected revenue is $365 trillion, so it creates a budget deficit of $440 billion. In other words, simple English, Joe, we're spending more money than still we bring in taxes. But one of the key things is that the budget passage represents a key step, that it contains the process of instructions known as what you call budget reconciliation. And a reconciliation will allow the Republicans, Joe, to pass a tax bill, that's the next thing on their plate. They're already talking about it, through the chamber with a simple majority vote, 51 votes or more. And this will avoid the famous Democratic filibuster. So that's a good deal.
I know, I agree with you. And again, most of my people do know what a filibuster is. But basically, a couple senators who know how to speak for long periods of time can get up and pretty much bury a bill. I think we all saw Ted Cruz. What was he? He was reading from Cat in the Hat and a few other things. I mean, it's really ridiculous what they can do in a filibuster to drag something out, hoping that most of those guys will fall asleep or leave the chamber, and it'll just die because nobody's there to vote on it. So and the Dems have been great at it. Well, both sides have been really great at it. So anyhow,
the filibuster, ironically, I don't know if you knew this, but it comes from the Latin word or the Spanish word pirate or robbers. And in essence, what it does, it creates this term filibustru. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. My wife, who's Hispanic descent, she can pronounce all those words. But anyway, it just does that. It delays the tactic, or it robs time to block a bill or amendment from it being passed. And that's, we saw Senator Ted Cruz do the green eggs and ham to his children at bedtime and spoke for 24 hours till the clock ran out, and that was against Obamacare. But filibusters were started in the 1850s. They weren't really used very much until the last decade. Now they're used very widely, quite a bit. So it's only in the Senate too.
The Democrats under Obama. I mean, how many budgets did they actually pass? I know there was a constant argument on the budget with that that cabinet, if you would, or that legislator. That legislative time. How's that? Okay.
Well, some years they didn't even have a budget.
Yes. I know.
So and that was the fight where Obama says, okay, well you put together the budget then, So, but let's put it into perspective how this budget relates to President Obama's budget. In the first year, this is the first year of Trump, first year of Obama, that was 2009. We're now spending 4.2 trillion. He was going to spend 3.5 trillion. The revenue is 3.65 for this year, for 2018. And the revenue for 2009 was 2.1. So still a deficit in 2009 of about 400 billion. We have a larger deficit now. And actually, ironically, the Treasury revised the deficit spending. It's more like $666 billion is the actual number. I love that number, huh? When it comes to our government spending. So, and that was announced yesterday. But under Obama, the budgets that were passed, they just kept growing more to now we're over $4 trillion, and the revenue kept not coming in, so the revenue grew as high as $720 billion in budget deficit. So for the lack of revenue, that is. So it looks like we're headed towards a little bit more revenue, and that's really what President Trump's campaigned upon. Let's stimulate the economy, and he's trying to do that through, tax breaks, and that should help that, but it's still going to balloon the debt. That's the problem. That's the age-old thing we're not really facing. But as far as budgets, this is kind of in line with Obama, but spending a little bit more, and hopefully more revenue will come in. But that's done with a hope, because they haven't actually passed any of the actual things that are in the budget. They passed the budget, but we don't know what's in the budget. That's
that's because you got to pass the budget, so we know what's in the. I'm just trying to understand. I'm Joe Messina, your host. Listen to Real Side on GCN Live. David will be with us on the other side of the break. Don't go far.
J&M Enterprises is a full-service screen printing company. They print on shirts, pants, hats, cups, frisbees, sports bags, sweatshirts, tote bags, and most any other promotional items. J&M has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years. J&M takes pride in providing high-quality products and services because we care. Our state-of-the-art equipment enables us to print high volume with superior quality on any job. J&M Enterprises is a full-service screen printing company. They print high volume with superior quality on any job. We print on clothing lines for schools, businesses, sports teams, and bands nationwide. Our team is committed to total customer satisfaction and the quality you should expect from a professional screen printing company. J&M, family owned and operated. Give us a call. We guarantee a great product and a great price. 800-462-0002. For a price quote, 800-468-0002. Or go to the web at www.jnm.cc.
Did you know that 9 countries around the world have already seized their citizens' assets to pay down their country's debt or support their banking system, known as what we call a bail-in? Did you know that bonds, mutual funds, and cash can be easily seized, while certain types of gold and silver coins historically are protected from government confiscation? Would you like to know the laws that have been passed to seize your wealth and how to protect your hard-earned money? Did you know that the Dodd-Frank Act allows our government to do the same type of seizure on our investments that those other 9 countries have already done with their citizens? If you don't want the government to seize your assets, you need to know how to protect yourself. You need to call our friends at Landmark Capital today. They are waging war against the government seizure of your wealth. Call 855-747-5947. That's 855-747-5947 to get free info, or landmarkgold.com.
You want to continue to be one of those uninformed voters, uninformed people in this world? Then change the channel, because I'm going to give you information you can work with. I'm going to give you information that's going to make you have to make a decision, have to do something about what's going on in this country today. If you want to get involved in the conversation, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Hop on the website, therealside.com, where you can get involved in the live chat, the watch live, the listen live, take the latest poll, check out my classic podcast. There's so much going on the website. Buy my book, Ramblings of a Right-Wing Bible-Thumping White Guy. We have shirts up there, #stand. It'll help you show others that you're willing to stand for liberty, stand for freedom, stand for these United States. You know, that's how we stay around. Do something. Get involved. The lines are open, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Go to the website, become one of my PIPs, my politically incorrect posse members. That's right. For the cost of a cup of coffee, that very expensive coffee place, you can go ahead and be a member of the team. So keep it here. Remember, get informed, get involved. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Real Side on GCN Live, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not from the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care?
Joe Messina here, host of the Real Side Radio Show. I'm asking you to exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that support one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do. We are back. You listen to the Real Side on GCN Live. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Please be involved in the conversation. Seriously. All right? Head up to the website, therealside.com. You can watch live, listen live. You can take the poll. There's a gazillion and three things you could do up there on the website. And just being involved, truly just being involved in the conversation. It's really that simple. So anyway, head up to the website, realside.com. Again, you can watch live, listen live. Let's get right back to it, though, because David Fisher has got his hand on the mark, his finger, his pulse, his thumb, whatever, on the market. And I think whether you got a few dollars or a whole bunch of money, David is an honest guy in the business and can help all of us keep our money in our pocket. So we're back with David Fisher, CEO of Landmark Capital. And for some of you who don't get it, you don't get what an effect this have on your life. I mean, seriously, when you talk about the deficits in our budgets and where we're going and spending money, there seems to be no stopgap, no safety brake, nothing for these guys just to start spending money like crazy. And David Fisher, again, he's with me, CEO of Landmark Capital. David, thanks for being with me today. You were talking about the deficit in the last segment. At this point, seriously, how do you balance the budget? We are so far over on spending. There'd really be some real pain to get this to a balanced budget, wouldn't there?
Absolutely, because most people don't realize this, but our country operates into a two-tier financial system, and it's broke. Our country is broke. We just haven't filed the bankruptcy papers. But I guess an easy way of understanding it is Lawrence Kotlikoff, who's an economic professor for Boston University, and he's testified many times before Congress on the financial inability for our country to get their finances under control. And yesterday he says, quote, "Our country is broke," end quote. He says, quote, "We are in worse shape than Russia, China, and any developed nation." And he goes on and says, he quotes that the Treasury announced just the other day the budget deficit of $660 billion, which is revised from the $440 billion, what Trump's saying it is. The Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, actually revised the real numbers. He's an accountant, obviously, has the accounting numbers on it. But the upshot is really this: the financial reporting system that politicians and insiders have key access to data is buried from most people in the footnotes of what you call unfunded liabilities. And this professor says it's more like $200 trillion.
Whoa! Come on.
So it's
is that real?
And he says the 2017 fiscal gap is $6 trillion, 9 times higher than what the Treasury is really announcing.
Wow!
Because it's like a company. Remember they used to do this, Joe, and about 7-8 years ago they used to have what you call offshore banking accounts.
Oh yeah.
And this whole ledger of liabilities that companies would put offshore that would not be disclosed, and therefore their stock would continue to rise because people would say, oh, they don't have a debt. And so when those were finally disclosed, some of those companies actually fell apart. This was accounting practice that Enron did, WorldCom Wireless did. These all did those types of things. They had off-books accounting practices. Our government's doing nothing different than that with the unfunded liabilities. Most people, they pay into Social Security, and Social Security is supposed to be put in a trust fund that is not touched by the government, and that's supposed to be put in investments to grow. Well, Social Security is bankrupt. We've been borrowing from it and taking money from it and using it as a slush fund, and that's one reason why you can add this up to one of the major unfunded liabilities, other government pensions and Medicare, Medicaid. The money's not there. We've been spending it, but it doesn't show up in the, quote, budget or the national debt, but it shows up in unfunded liabilities. So that's why we're really $6 trillion is the gap of money that we cannot afford every year. It's not $660 billion, and that's the reality.
The left says there's nothing wrong with Social Security, that those people, conservatives, are just fear mongers, and we're just scaring people with Social Security. But there is no way they can take care of the amount of people or take care of the people the way they say they can with the current dollars. I mean, and that's not fear-mongering. That's just a reality, correct?
The Social Security Administration said they will be bankrupt by 2036. So, I think they know more about it than any other politician.
I love it. I love these guys, and they can't even come together to decide, they need to get on the floor of Congress with a whiteboard and just lay it all out, plain simple English, so the American populace can see it. I think that would shed light on so many things. Anyhow, the market. We've talked about the market. Actually, no. I want to talk about this first. Tax reform. I was talking to somebody, a congressman, on Tuesday night, and I said, the problem with tax reform is that the two sides have a different viewpoint of what tax reform is. And it's like immigration. People have a different viewpoint of how immigration should be rolled out. Is it tax reform? Is this going to help? Is this really tax reform what President Trump is proposing, and is it really going to help us?
It is tax reform, and it will help the average investor, but it's going to kill America and its debt structure. So when you take away $5.1 trillion of tax revenue, we're going to cut, money coming into the government. So think with me. It's simple math. The government already spends more money than it takes in, somewhere around $440 to $666 billion a year. So $500 billion we overspend in. More in the budget. Forget the unfunded liabilities, just the budget. So now we are going to take in $5.1 to $5.2 trillion less because we're cutting taxes. So where's that going to get shored up? So the deficit's going to balloon on this. But in doing so, tax reform, the average American household by the Heritage Foundation, which is a Washington think tank, will be boosted by about an income of $4,000. So every American, on an average, will have about $4,000. The middle class will have about $4,000 more to spend. So the theory is, let's get Americans, who are the number one person holding the back of the economy up, spend more money, $4,000, and that will stimulate more economic growth, which will subsidize the loss of $5.1 trillion. It sounds good in theory, and this is what Reagan did. It worked in job growth, but it didn't work in tax revenue because the debt ballooned under Reagan 4 times. He entered office with $550 billion national debt and left at $2.3 trillion. Wow. So it's not going to work from that standpoint. And the Congressional Budget Office, which is not Republican or Democrat, says it's going to add $6 trillion to our national debt by creating a $5.1 trillion tax deduction. So it's not, we're not going to get a bang for a buck. It's actually going to dig us deeper into a physical hole. And this is also on the step of the backdrop of the Fed raising rates. When the Fed raise rates, that just causes us to pay more in interest payments on the national debt. So we're not moving into a good environment. But this is a very positive political maneuver that will help Americans in their monthly budget. So it's going to be really good for that, probably good for the market because people are going to spend more. but not good for our debt structure as a country. Terrible for that.
The thought process, obviously, is if you cut taxes for people, even small businesses, it'll help them start to hire more people, put more people back to work, maybe even spending more money, in capital expenditures. Are you saying that has not proved to be true in the past?
What I'm saying is there's never been that to be proven true.
Right.
Not even under Reagan.
Yeah.
Reagan stimulated the economy. Yes, the economy will be stimulated. People will go back to work. Job growth will be created, and America was made great then, and America will be made great again under President Trump. But you can't have everything and have no consequences for less of revenue to support the payment of the bills of the country.
Right.
So it wasn't enough to still make payment of bills. Evidence, why did the national debt go up 4 times, almost 5 times as much? Why did the national debt go up that much? Because we didn't have revenue to our country enough to support to keep the national debt down at $550 billion. Rather, it ballooned to $2.3 trillion. So it didn't work under Reagan from that standpoint, but it did work in job growth and wage growth.
All right. You know what? You're my man, so I got to believe what you say. But you know what? Because we do believe in capitalism, I don't want to enter into deficit spending. We got to go for a quick commercial break so I can actually make some money too. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. I love making money. The best thing you can do.
Full-time job, I don't always have time to cook a 4-course meal. That's where Numan has been such a blessing. I can spend less time in the kitchen and more time on what matters most, like helping with homework.
Find out for yourself. Order online at thepowermall.com. That's thepowermall.com. Numana is.
Food stores I love to eat. Yum!
Thepowermall.com.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder. Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body. Why take another pill?
Did you know that 9 countries around the world have already seized their citizens' assets to pay down their country's debt or support their banking system, known as what we call a bail-in? Did you know that bonds, mutual funds, and cash can be easily seized, while certain types of gold and silver coins historically are protected from government confiscation? Would you like to know the laws that have been passed to seize your wealth and how to protect your hard-earned money? Did you know that the Dodd-Frank Act allows our government to do the same type of seizure on our investments that those other 9 countries have already done with their citizens? If you don't want the government to seize your assets, you need to know how to protect yourself. You need to call our friends at Landmark Capital today. They are waging war against the government seizure of your wealth. Call 855-747-5947. That's 855-747-5947 to get free info or landmarkgold.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not from the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Joe Messina here, host of the Real Side Radio Show. I'm asking you to exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that support one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call us at 855-58-LIBERTY. That's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or check us online at libertyhealthshare.org. That's libertyhealthshare.org. You want to continue to be one of those uninformed voters?
uninformed people in this world, then change the channel because they're going to give you information you can work with. I'm going to give you information that's going to make you have to make a decision, have to do something about what's going on in this country today. If you want to get involved in the conversation, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Hop on the website, therealside.com, where you can get involved in the live chat, the watch live, the listen live, take the latest poll, check out my classic podcast. There's so much going on the website. Buy my book, Ramblings of a Right-Wing Bible-Thumping White Guy. We have shirts up there, #stand. It'll help you show others that you're willing to stand for liberty, stand for freedom, stand for these United States. You know, that's how we stay around. Do something. Get involved. The lines are open, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Go to the website, become one of my PIPs, my politically incorrect posse members. That's right. For the cost of a cup of coffee at that very expensive coffee place, you can go ahead and be a member of the team. So keep it here. Remember, get informed, get involved. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Real Side on GCN Live, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
J&M Enterprises is a full-service screen printing company. They print on shirts, pants, hats, cups, frisbees, sports bags, sweatshirts, tote bags, and most any other promotional items. J&M has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years. J&M take pride in providing high-quality products and services because we care. Our state-of-the-art equipment enables us to print high volume with superior quality on any job. We print on clothing lines for schools, businesses, sports teams, and bands nationwide. Our team is committed to total customer satisfaction and the quality you should expect from a professional screen printing company. J&M, family-owned and operated. Give us a call. We guarantee a great product and a great price. 800-462-0002. For a price quote,
We are back. You're listening to The Real Side on GCN Live. Always a pleasure to have you with me, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Head over to the website, therealside.com. You can watch live and listen live. Take the poll. There's so much you can do up there. But right now, you know what I want you to do? I want you to listen to David Fisher. He's going to tell you a little bit about your money, how to keep it in your pocket, maybe how to make it grow. But I don't know how to do that. David does. Okay, we're back with some real great financial news. Not. David Fisher, CEO of Landmark Capital, joins me, and we're talking about the market and the reaction of the market, the passing of the budget, and so we can see what was in it. You know, we're just using Nancy Pelosi's reasoning for passing bills. And, David, you were talking about where we were with tax reform and what this deficit could do for us, to us.
I want to make it clear. I'm all for tax reform, and I'm supporting President Trump 100% in this. I'm all for job growth. But I think there's a little bit better happy medium there. The problem is because we're not facing the debt of our country. And it's not a popular thing to face your debt on a household or corporate or national level.
Right.
But sometimes it's much needed to do. Otherwise, you have to file bankruptcy. And so we're headed down that road as a country on a much faster pace than we ever have before. And this is where Senator Rand Paul stood his ground, and that's where my hat goes off to him. He's going to add too much to our debt structure of our country, and we can't pay it off now. We certainly won't be able to pay it off then, but he does support the president in what you call supply-side economics, which is creating more supply, more revenue to the country. So it's just a big challenge, and even the IMF came out, excuse me, I said even the IMF came out and poo-pooed the idea of President Trump's tax plan, saying that it will balloon deficit spending will go up significantly. So it's not just Americans who are seeing this problem, that what it's going to create. The world does understand you just at some time at the end of the day, you got to be able to pay your debt structure. And that's where the problem is still not being addressed.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny with Rand Paul. The thing that I always appreciate about him is he's not he's not an ideologue, right? I mean, he comes at it from an honest way. He comes at it, from the heart. So you can't. I've never been able to get mad with a legislator who truly believes something, and they're not just doing it because their party is pushing them in that direction. You know what I'm saying?
There's an article out that talks about the Senate, and it says this: here's the easiest way to understand it. In order to erase projected deficits, it calls for trillions of dollars of spending cuts over the coming decade. But the cuts only exist currently on paper without a legislation to achieve them. So, I might be speaking my opinion a little bit too soon, because if Congress comes back now and starts slashing trillions of dollars of spending cuts in the next decade, this will actually work. That's the only way this is going to work.
Well, wait a minute. Now, maybe you brought something up here. I mean, Trump has been known to throw it back in somebody else's lap to get them to do something. Maybe that's part of his, crazy little secret plan, is that if he does this, he can spin around in his chair and look at Congress and go, now, you can fix this. You can make this work.
If I had to be a prophet, I would say you're the real prophet, and you're exactly right. That's what has to happen, Joe, for our country to really get back on track. We're not real. If Americans really knew the numbers, and they don't look into it like you or I look into it, but I look into this all the time. This is the problem, and there's people who don't have anything to do with gold, like billionaires. There's 20 of them now coming out this year alone, are saying the problem is much greater than our own admittance, and we're going to go through major economic turmoil, and that's why the other countries are moving away from the holding dollars, because they see the problem. It's plain as day to them. And so, ironically, my next door neighbors who's a physician in the German flight team that trains German flight officers, he says Europe talks about the debt of America all the time and says, how can you guys live this way? We're just playing the shell game. So if we do finally, because we've been talking about for 8 years, let's get our debt under control. If Republicans really have a chance to change this country, this is the time, this is the day, this is the hour to do that.
I think about this stuff on a regular basis and how, and I'm not picking on you listeners, okay? So just hear me out for a second, and I'm sure David will agree with me to a degree. Our kids can't even balance checkbooks coming out of high school. They really don't understand how finances flow. They're taught about credit their whole lives. This is, they don't even understand this. They have no way to wrap their minds around this. We're not setting these young people up to understand how finances work. This will be even a bigger problem down the road with the American populace, because they're going to keep turning to the government for help on a regular basis, are they not?
20 years ago, they didn't really talk about this problem, but it was a problem then because the debt-to-income ratio of our country was in the 60%, under Reagan in the 1980s, actually 30 years ago. But now we're at 107%. Most people don't understand we're upside down as a country, and when you go upside down, you got to do something really severe to get right side up, and that's where we're at, and most people don't realize that. Politicians realize this, but they fight over how to get from where we're at to there. And
but that's a credit card mentality, David, is it not? I mean, look, you just said it. If we took every nickel we had come in to pay off debt, we'd still be 7% over, and that leaves you no room for an emergency, right?
We have no emergency fund unless you want to call the Federal Reserve as the printing press, and they're leveraged to the hilt from the quantitative easing. So we don't have any backstop unless you want to call the bail-in as a backstop. That's the whole nother thing. But, we have to inflate our way out of this problem or massively cut spending, or maybe all of the above and maybe a portion of a bail-in. It's not going to continue to go on the way it is. And don't be confused with how great the stock market is, and it's a great market to be in. I encourage people to be in it, as that's the economy. That's stocks. That is not the economy, and that is not the government debt structure. So we have three different areas: the stock market, the true economy, and government debt. And pretty soon, government debt is going to affect the other two entities.
God. All this is just amazing, and it's true how, again, our young people don't quite understand. All right, you brought it up. We got about 3 minutes left. Let's talk about the the bail-in. Is it real? Could it really happen? And I'll tell you something that's really funny. I had a guy on a show the other day talking about Bitcoins, and he talked about a bail-in. He talked about the actual possibility of a bail-in in this country. So, in the mouth of two witnesses. Anyhow, tell us about the bail-in and how real it could be.
Well, President Trump has filed bankruptcy in his personal corporations before 4 of them. And recently he talked about how much the stock market has gone up $5.2 trillion. And he says you can use those gains against the debt, reducing our debt. If he's serious about that, he just openly admitted there's a bail-in coming, because the gains in the stock market are individual investors, 401ks, IRAs, and retirement programs, not the government who made $5.2 trillion. That's investors. So if he's saying that we can use that against the national debt, there's the bail-in. That's where the government can't pay their own bills, and it's happened in 9 countries, and they come into their citizens' accounts and seize a portion of it and give them a bank note or a government bond in return and pay them back over time. And this is something I wrote a white paper on it's in its 7th edition, called The Coming Bail-In.
And you guys have got to get that. You got to go up to landmarkgold.com and pick it up, because I'm telling you something. You have to know what's happening with your money. So many of you, and I talk with you. I've sat around and talked with a couple of you guys about this stuff, where you just turn around and go, I can't believe this isn't happening, or I'm not getting the gains I wanted to get, or I don't have the money I thought I was going to have in the bank. Some of you are perfectly comfortable and happy with the fact that you've got a little nest egg in the bank. That could change pretty rapidly, right?
All it takes is a few announcements, 1 or 2 major ones, that causes the domino effect. That's what caused 2008, and the environment changed drastically within just a couple days. And to say that we're not in that environment again, then why are 20 billionaires saying this is going to happen? It could happen between now and sometime next year. Actually, most of them are saying next year we're going to have a major change, and I can now starting to see why that might be true.
Yeah, and again, this is not fear-mongering. This is not trying to get you to buy gold, silver, stocks, bury your money in the backyard. This is to give you information. You decide on your own how to make it happen. Seriously, but I would admonish you to go up to landmarkgold.com, or call in at 844-715-7311. David and his team will just plain simple English. You don't have to know finances. You'll understand plain simple English. You'll get everything you need. David, always a pleasure having you with me. I do appreciate the way you lay things out for us.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
It's always nice to have somebody like David on, too. You got to think about your money. You got to think about what you know or don't know about it. And you got guys like this, again, plain simple English. You can ask him, as you can see, you can ask him about any question you want, and David's willing to step up and answer the question and help you work through it. But if you're like me, and you're paying attention, and you're trying to read, and you're trying to understand, it's almost impossible, right? Because everybody's got their mindset as what it should be, what it means, that kind of stuff. So anyway, 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Don't go far. Next hour, Stan Larimer is going to join me, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, BitShares, all that, what it means. Could I really be a gabillionaire today if I had just bought $200 in Bitcoins a few years back? I'm Joe Messina, your host. Don't go far. We'll be right back.
You're listening to GCN, the world leader in independent talk radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstrom. The National Archives this evening released nearly 3,000 of the long-awaited secret records relating to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy. President Trump, though, blocked the release of other records, bending to CIA and FBI appeals over national security, placing them under a 6-month review. Correspondent Mike Grossi reports that still leaves a lot of questions unanswered.
For some, President Donald Trump's 11th-hour decision to block release of hundreds of government records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy is sure to be a disappointment and further conspiracy theories. But some reporters who covered the story take a different view. Former AP correspondent Mike Cochran.
I still, to this day, am thoroughly convinced
that Lee Harvey Oswald was indeed the assassin and that he acted alone.
But questions do remain, such as how was Dallas nightclub owner Jack Ruby able to get close enough to Oswald to assassinate the assassin 2 days after the president was killed? I'm Mike Rossio.
President Trump declared opioid abuse a national public health emergency and announced new steps to combat what he described as the worst drug crisis in U.S. history. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who chairs the President's Commission on Combating Drug Addiction and the Opioid Crisis, says the declaration is a significant development.
What the President did today was historic, and it is an extraordinary beginning set of steps
again, let me just get my
to dealing with this problem.
Declaration's effective for 90 days and can be reviewed. The White House praising House passage of a budget as necessary step for tax overhaul.